Hello friends, welcome back to Discussion Movies. Today I will show you a 2022 American epic science fiction action adventure thriller fantasy film titled Avatar 2. Friends, please subscribe the channel and enjoy the movie story. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Jake Sully, the main character, opens the movie by narrating his simple and peaceful life as the chief in Pandora with his family. He says that he and his wife Neytiri have 5 children in total, 2 sons named Neteyam and Lo'ak, a daughter named Tuck, their adopted daughter Kiri, and a boy named Spider. Jake goes on to make it clear that Kiri is the daughter of Grace, a dear friend of his who passed away while assisting the Na'vi people in their fight against humans. When all the humans returned to Earth after losing their battle, Spider was left behind. According to Jake, the children play together and care for one another well. Jack mentions that the children live together as if they were members of a family, despite the fact that they are all different in color and size. Neytiri, on the other hand, dislikes Spider because it turns out that he is the son of Colonel Miles Quaritch, the evil man who almost destroyed the novice. It turns out that Spider was too small to be brought back to Earth and left behind on Pandora. Kiri, on the other hand, is very fond of Spider and has a special bond with him. The human boy believes he is a Na'vi because he has spent his entire life with them. Neytiri and Jack are talking one night when they see some bright spaceships in the sky. The spaceships suddenly approach them and begin wreaking havoc. Fire engulfs the Omaticaya habitat, causing widespread destruction and the deaths of numerous animals. A group of soldiers armed with robot artillery emerge from the spaceships to destroy the remaining structures. Neytiri and Jake, who are watching from a distance, are shocked to learn that the ship is an RDA spaceship carrying humans who are there to establish a colony on Pandora and construct a second main operating station. After that, the setting shifts to one of the human labs, where researchers have created a Na'vi clone of the Colonel with success. The information and memories that were gathered prior to his death have been fed to him. This means that the Colonel's clone knows everything except how and who killed him. The scientists have also created clones of other soldiers who were present during their previous assault on Pandora, along with the Colonel. As a result, the Colonel and his men are determined to eliminate the Omaticaya, specifically, Jake. Meanwhile, Jake leads a Na'vi army toward the RDA train supply lines in an effort to repel the intruders. He manages to successfully break into it and steal ammunition and food supplies. One of his sons, Lo'ak, doesn't follow his orders during this operation, and he gets hurt. Jake yells at him and demands that he be disciplined the following time. On the other hand, the Colonel meets General Ardmore, his superior, and he tells him about the Scounds, the Na'vi's flying partners. Currently, they are slowing down and attacking their helicopters. When they hear this, the Quaritch come up with a master plan to break into the forest where they last fought and get some information about them. He and his other companions arrive at the forest quickly. In the same forest, Jake's kids are also having fun, which is unfortunate. The Colonel then notices his robotic suit, which still has his body inside, as he looks around their previous battlefield. Lo'ak notices everything and immediately uses a voice transmitter that is worn around his neck to communicate with his father. Lo'ak is advised to stay away from them and leave the location quietly by Jake, who has listened to this. He and Neytiri then take off in the direction of the forest to make sure their children are safe. Sadly, the humans capture Lo'ak and his siblings as they attempt to flee. When the Colonel examines their fingers more closely, he learns that they are the children of his arch-rival. Neytiri and Jake make their way there just as the soldiers are about to attack. The majority of their children are released, but Spider is not. Unfortunately, the evil humans take away the boy. When the Colonel later asks Spider his name, he quickly realizes that he is the Colonel's son. Jake approaches his wife again in Omaticaya and suggests that they leave the location and travel to the eastern seaboard. He is concerned about Spider telling the Colonel and his men where they are. Additionally, Jake informs Neytiri that the humans will continue to attack them until he arrives with the tribe, as he was the one who initially killed Colonel Quaritch. Although Neytiri doesn't want to leave her lovely house, she is aware that her husband is correct. As a result, she is forced to migrate with him. In contrast, General Ardmore treats Spider badly by putting him in a machine that rotates. He tries unsuccessfully to obtain crucial information from the boy. Spider just won't give in because he is too loyal to his Na'vi parents. Surprisingly, the Colonel immediately stops the spinning machine because he cannot see his son in this state. After that, he goes up to the General and informs her that he will deal with Spider in his own way. He assures the boy that he is not a bad person when they meet later in a separate room. He also makes it clear that he is here to bring him back to Earth. Spider eventually agrees to provide him with the information he desires as his heart is warmed by this. In the following scene, Jake and his entire family depart from their home and take to the skies in their scows. They finally land at Neteyam, where another Navi tribe lives, after flying for several days. Surprisingly, the novice who live here are pale and prefer to remain in the water. When they see Jake and his gang, they start to make fun of how they look. Tonawari, the tribe's leader, and his wife make their way there shortly after. He mentions that Jake and his family are not equipped to survive in the water and expresses doubts about them. Jake, however, promises that they will quickly adjust to the new environment because he is so eager to save his family. He then discusses how some humans are pursuing him. After hearing this, Tonawari finally gives in and lets them stay and gives them a place to sleep. He also asks his kids to teach Jake's kids how to swim and use their special creatures to get around in the water. To comply with the request, the children of Tonawari take their new friends to the ocean and begin teaching them the fundamentals. In the meantime, Lo'ak, always so naughty, tries to connect with a sea creature, but he loses control and goes under the water. The children of Tonawari begin to laugh when they see him. The girl, in the midst of everything, deep within the ocean, one can make out Kiri. She has surprisingly adapted well to the environment and is even able to control some sea creatures. Aonong, the son of Tonawari, and his friends approach Kiri while she is meditating underwater the following day and begin to make fun of her, calling her a freak. Lo'ak arrives and punches Aonong as a result. Later, when Jake learns about the incident, he orders his son to apologize to Aonong because he is the son of the clan leader. Lo'ak reluctantly agrees and apologizes. Even though Aonong publicly pardons him, he is still enraged deep down. Therefore, under the guise of swimming, he takes Lo'ak to a predetermined location in order to instruct him. Lo'ak has no idea that there are dangerous sea predators in the vicinity. A large predator swims quickly at Lo'ak while he is fishing later. Lo'ak, terrified and afraid, looks around for assistance but cannot locate anyone. However, Payakan, a massive creature, appears just in time to help. Using its large head, it quickly kills the predator. Payakan is a peaceful and intelligent tulkun, which we learn about here. The Neteyam consider the thousands of tulkuns in the sea to be their spiritual family. The largest and most powerful of them all is Payakan. Payakan saves Lo'ak and brings her to the surface in the interim. The latter also aids the creature by removing some harpoons that were allegedly causing it harm. The two form a beautiful bond and become friends as a result of this. Later, when Lo'ak reaches land, Tonawari summons him. The strict leader wants Aonong to apologize for his son's actions now that he has learned about them. The selfless Lo'ak, on the other hand, takes responsibility for his actions and denies that Aonong was involved. Aonong finally learns from this that the new novice aren't so bad after all. Lo'ak returns to his brother and friends after some time and tells them how Payakan saved his life. No one, to his surprise, believes him. Instead, they reveal that Payakan is a murderer, which is why the other tulkuns have abandoned it. Spider, on the other hand, explains some of the Navi culture to the colonel and then takes him to the Hallelujah Mountain to choose a scout for him. The colonel has trouble getting used to it at first, but eventually he flies it around. He also learns about Jake's possible location shortly after, and he and his army head for the Neteyam reef. When he gets there, he runs into some water navigators and asks if they know Jake. The evil people kill one of the novice and set fire to their homes when the novice say no. The novice nevertheless maintain their assertion. The colonel tells his team to go with plan B because they don't have any other options. Now he wants to kill a lot of tulkuns in the hopes that this will finally draw Jake out. However, killing them also has another advantage. The tulkuns have a valuable liquid in their brains that can make them live longer. A single liter of this liquid will cost millions worldwide. Soon, a few hunters begin to pursue the sea monsters. They knock out a number of trackers embedded in them, rendering them unconscious. We are shown a heartbreaking scene in which a mother tulkun is brutally killed while her children lie in shock next to her. The trackers remain within the tulkuns while the humans eventually depart. The Neteyam become enraged when they learn that their friends are being killed and decide to fight the attackers. But Jake calms them down and tells them that they need to tell the tulkuns first about the trackers. They can't stop a strike from happening again unless they do this. He leaves to tell his best friend as soon as Lo'ak hears this, Payakan, regarding it. He is joined by Aonong and a few other locals. They eventually meet Payakan and get ready to remove the tracker from him. However, just at that moment, the whale ship carrying the colonel and his hunting party arrives. Lo'ak gets in touch with his father after seeing them and tells him about the situation. he and his friends also manage to remove the tracker from Payakan's body just in time. They then go underwater to hide while the crew of the Colonel starts looking for them. Jake, on the other hand, makes his way to Tonawari and informs him that their children have vanished. The latter is worried about this, so he quickly orders his people to get ready for war. Jake and Neytiri also pick up their weapons, and they soon all head toward the battlefield together. The Colonel, on the other hand, directs his crew to attack the Tulkuns and locate Jake's children. They finally locate Kiri and Tuck after a prolonged search, capturing them in a net. Lo'ak tries to tear the net, but he ends up being dragged to the whale ship by it. They are cuffed to the ship's railing when the Colonel arrives shortly after. After that, he takes the transmitter from Lo'ak's collar and asks Jake to surrender for the sake of his children's safety. Jake accepts his conditions because he has no other choice. Payakan also notices his best friend at the same time. Lo'ak decides to save him after being handcuffed to the deck. He suddenly jumps onto the deck and starts moving its massive fins, a risky move. The ship is destroyed and numerous soldiers are lost as a result. Jake and the Metkayina also launch an assault on the Colonel and his army, profiting from this distraction. In addition to seeking retribution, they want to save their children. In the meantime, Spider destroys the whale ship's controller, causing it to hit the rocks and leak water inside. Jake and his eldest son are next. Neteyam swiftly ascend the deck to liberate Lo'ak, Tuck, and Kiri. They then tell the kids to go back to safety, but Lo'ak says no. Instead, he chooses to save Spider, his adopted brother. Spider is located after some searching, and Neteyam joins him. The Colonel observes and fires as they prepare to leave the ship. Sadly, Neteyam sustains serious injuries when one of the bullets hits him. He is immediately taken to the shore by Lo'ak and Spider to be with their mother, but he dies from excessive blood loss. Neytiri breaks down into loud cries and screams after witnessing her son's death. In the meantime, the evil Colonel uses his scown to capture Tuck and Kiri. He later makes contact with Jake and tells him that he has both of his daughters with him. Jake calms Neytiri down and persuades her to join him in saving their daughters after receiving this information. After the latter did so, she called her scown, grabbed her bow and arrows, and flew toward the ship in rage. Soon, Jake comes close to the ship and sets off an explosion, killing the men of the Colonel. Additionally, Neytiri arrives and begins shooting arrows at the remaining humans, instantly killing them. In the meantime, Jake locates his young daughter. Tuck frees her, but the Colonel also shows up at the same time. Kiri is being held by him with a knife. After that, he makes a threat to Jake that he will give up his weapons, which Jake reluctantly does. Spider is taken captive by a vengeful Neytiri, who threatens to kill him. The Colonel initially states that he is not related to Spider, but when Neytiri makes a small cut in the boy's chest, he leaves Kiri right away. Neytiri and her family get ready to leave with this, but the Colonel warns them that he will once more go after Jake and kill him. Jake later realizes that if he wants to live a peaceful life, he needs to get rid of the Colonel. He returns to the battlefield as a result. This time, the fierce rivals engage in a traditional fist fight. It's brutal, and the two wrestlers match each other step for step. But ultimately, it is our hero, Jake, the victor. He knocks the Colonel unconscious by wrapping his arms around his neck. Jake lets him drown in the water because he thinks he is dead. Sadly, he struggles to breathe as well and begins to sink to the bottom. However, Lo'ak saves him and brings him back to the surface at the same time. Payakan later transports the family as a whole to the shore. In contrast, Spider also saves his biological father by rescuing him from the water. However, Spider turns down the Colonel's request to leave the area with him and returns to his adoptive family. The Metkayina tribe as a whole and Jake's family bury Neteyam's body at the bottom of the ocean, where the lighting tubes embrace him like they are their own, in the final scene. At the end of the movie, Jake realizes that he is in heaven with their gods and recalls his fondest memories of his older son. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more movies like this. Thanks for watching.